Hi, welcome back. In this section we're going to talk about some different uses of life insurance other than the normal one. It's got a lot of business applications and estate applications. In business, the most common use of life insurance is to fund a buy-sell agreement. And that is when two people are in business. They could be partners or they could be co-shareholders of a business. Oftentimes what they will do is take out a life insurance policy on each other. Partner A will buy a policy on partner B will buy a policy on partner A. And the reason for that is if one of them dies, the other one will get the proceeds. And they will use that proceeds to buy out the deceased spouse. Because what happens is virtually all wills, and again that's a point, if you don't have a will you should, but virtually all wills are I love you wills, meaning that they leave everything to the surviving spouse. So in the example of the two business partners, if partner B dies, he leaves everything to his spouse. That includes the shares in the business with partner A. So now partner A is in business with partner B's widow. That's usually not a good thing. The purpose of owning the insurance is to fund a buy-sell agreement. The buy-sell agreement says that your estate agrees to sell and the other estate agrees to buy the shares. The insurance funds it. Now partner B dies, partner A collects the proceeds, gives the proceeds to partner B's widows in exchange for the shares in the corporation. Partner A is now 100% shareholder and he's not in business with anybody else. That's one common business application of it. Key man insurance is another. But in the estate planning, one common use is in estate equalization. And this is really a problem area that I see. People always want to treat their children the same. They want to leave it equally in most cases. So let's just take an example. There's a businessman, he's been in business his whole life, done reasonably well, has two children. One of them followed him into the business, the other one didn't. And his estate's worth $5 million. He dies. And of the $5 million estate, let's just say $3 million was the business and $2 million was everything else. The house, the IRA, the brokerage account, the cars, everything else. Well, obviously you could leave 50% of the estate to each kid. And I submit to you that that is a recipe for disaster. That absolutely should not be done. A kid who's not in the business should never get a share of the business. And I'll talk about that in a minute. The other way you could do it is you say, well, the one kid's working in the business, I'll leave him or her the business, and I'll leave the other one everything else. Yeah, well, there you're not equal. Then the guy in the business gets the $3 million, the other one only gets $2 million. Again, most people want to treat them equal. So what do? In this case, you could buy the insured of the estate owner while he's living, could buy $1 million policy, leaving the child who's not in the business as the beneficiary. So then the kid who's working in the business gets the $3 million business. The one who's not in the business gets $2 million of assets plus $1 million life insurance proceeds. They each get $3 million. They're treated equitably. Now, why shouldn't you leave a child who's not working in the business a piece of the business? Well, because they may have very different objectives than the one working in the business. The one working in the business may say, I need cash flow, I've got to reinvest, I've got to do marketing, I've got to hire somebody, I need new computer systems, I need the money to be reinvested in the business to stay competitive in my industry. Whereas the one who's not in the business, they don't understand any of that. They're saying, I need money. Maybe they're having financial problems. Maybe they're going through a divorce. That would be even worse. Then you leave half of it to them, and now it goes not only to the kid who's not in the business, but to their ex-spouse. So you never want to leave shares in a business to a non-working kid. Always try and treat it equally other ways, and one of the ways that you can treat them equally in that situation is via the use of life insurance. Also, that works for other smaller things in businesses. Could be family heirlooms, artwork, any unique piece of an estate that you want to leave to somebody that would tend to make the estate unequal. And then the third area, non-traditional use of life insurance, would be to pay estate taxes. Most people are aware that the proceeds from life insurance are income tax-free. That means if you buy a $1 million policy and your beneficiary receives it, there is no income taxes on that $1 million. There could be estate taxes. Estate taxes are, you add up everything you own when you die, and if it exceeds a certain threshold, Uncle Sam and more likely the state that you are domiciled in is going to want a piece of that. The thresholds have been increased recently. They're up to $5 million a person on a federal level. That's for the next 2 years, for 2011 and 2012. And then they're scheduled to go back to $1 million at the end of 2012. That probably won't happen. There'll be some kind of change to it. So right now, as we sit here in February of 2011, the biggest part of estate taxes is coming from the individual states. And they will probably be on the rise because, as you know, most state governments are not in the best of financial health right now. In New Jersey, it's 16% estate tax on anything over $1 million. So in that case that we were talking about, the gentleman had a $5 million estate. The first $1 million would be free, the next $4 million would be taxed at 16%. So a lot of times life insurance will be procured in a trust to keep it out of the estate and use the life insurance to pay the estate taxes so that the entire estate can pass to the heirs without anything going to Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam's still going to get his share, but it's going to be from the insurance proceeds, not from the estate. We'll not have to liquidate estate assets to pay estate taxes. That's it for this one on the different uses of life insurance. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, be sure to contact me. Thanks a lot.